Allez, c'est parti. Je fais les voix, je passe le cap sur sur la playa. Toi et moi, les Valkyries. Aloha, baby. Aloha, baby. Aloha, baby. Aloha, baby. Aloha, baby. Aloha, baby. À Paris ou à Tahiti. Au tiki avec une jambe de fruits. Tu repenses à
Hey, I thought you would have come to Hawaii. Where are you? Are you still at the Tiki Lounge? No, I'm far away. It's too late for goodbye. Watching the pipeline, I can feel the spirit of Duke. Reverb unit. Surf guitar. California, baby. Surf, surf, surf. The North Shore.
Right. Well, since Terry is here, it must be time to start. Poof. I had so many things, to talk about with this Helen Lewis piece, millennial about so-called millennial feminism. And then there's all this stuff going on Twitter where these millennial women want to pretend like it never happened. It's interesting. And I gotta say that I don't really agree. Let's look at this. I don't really agree with this terminology, and it's very funny to me that Helen Lewis wrote this article like a day after I made my Lindy West video. just things I'm noticing. I don't think millennial feminism is a very good term because it doesn't really describe what happened. I mean, yeah, there were definitely sex positive feminists out there. And then there are all these millennial women trying to gaslight Gen Z as if that never happened. But it did. I was there. And I was not a feminist at the time. I think I was only a feminist for about 2 years, maybe three, between like 2016, maybe 4 years, but more of like the radical feminist persuasion, which is why Terry and I sort of are familiar with each other. But I think that millennial feminism is not the right name for this at all. Because even though there were like the sex positive, so-called sex positive feminists, a lot of those so-called sex positive feminists were actually just trannies. So there's that. I don't think that's feminism. And I think if you were going to call something millennial feminism, uh, it would be, I guess, like the sex positivity and all of that stuff. But what I see is like a broader cultural phenomena called what I've called millennial masochism, which I've talked about in that Lindy West video. But a good example of millennial masochism that wouldn't have anything to do with Lindy West or so-called millennial feminism, whatever the heck that is, Helen. Uh, it's more of the zeitgeist, of the cultural milieu of the time. So if you were actually a millennial, which I don't think even a lot of these women on Twitter are, you would, for example, remember the American Apparel ads. Okay, you would have very vivid memories if you were alive in I don't know, the early 2000s, and you were past high school age, maybe living in a city, you would be subject to these advertisement campaigns. And I could get into Dov Sharney, the guy who started American Apparel, and all of his issues, and the photographer that was employed, Terry Richardson, I think his name was. But and then there was, of course, like Tumblr. And so you have all these women who are saying, like, oh, this never happened. Just because you read it on Tumblr, it doesn't make it feminism. But, and I would say also it's not, it's a larger cultural zeitgeist. It's what I would call millennial masochism, which I guess the sort of feminism thing is a part of it. But what I wanted to talk about as an example of millennial masochism would be the humiliation ritual of watching Two Girls, One Cup. Okay, that would be an example of what I would call millennial masochism, right? You're all together in a room, and one of your friends, one of your more like creepy, weird friends is like, oh my God, have you seen this disgusting video? Let me show it to you. And even if you don't want to watch it in your social group, you have to show that you're tough and you can hang, and you're going to watch Two Girls, One Cup, which I actually avoided my entire life. Thank God. I never saw that. I never saw Human Centipede. I managed to avoid both of these things. But this is what I would call millennial masochism, which doesn't have really, I don't think, anything to do with feminism at all. Okay. And that's why I think, first of all, to go back to this article, I think Helen Lewis is a thought thief. And I think she butchered what I was saying. I have a hard time believing that this article that came out right after one of my most viewed videos on YouTube about Lindy West, like the day after I made that video, this came out. And I just think she's wrong, and she's misnamed this larger cultural attitude towards sex. And it wasn't necessarily, there were sex positive feminists, pushing this kind of stuff. I don't know if I would call Lindy West one of them. I've never read her work, but it seems to me like she's kind of not very sexual at all. So let me just share this also, because Julius Serrano was one of these people that was talked a lot about in the sort of online uh, feminist sphere, let's say. And Julius Serrano's a man, okay? And part of millennial masochism is accepting the lie that these people could change their sex. And I guess and so it happened, okay? This happened. Like it's not like it didn't happen. And I'm really tired of these older women telling Gen Z that this wasn't a thing. This never happened. Like it's kind of sick. It's kind of sick. Like I really think these older women are never going to take responsibility for pushing these terrible ideas onto society. I don't think any leftist ever can take responsibility for their bad ideas. Yeah, I have never seen it. So thank goodness for us remaining pure, never seeing that. I managed to escape it. And if you've never heard of it, Tar Baby, that makes me think that maybe perhaps you're a lot younger, because this was a phenomena that was happening. When was it even going on? 2 girls, 1 cup. I've managed to never see it. 2007. Yes, so we're talking about the early 2000s, right? 2000 to 2010, let's say, and then all the repercussions of these ideologies. You think so? I don't sound totally insane when I think that Helen Lewis probably watched my video and then made up her own thing and then put it on Twitter so that everybody could talk about that for a week instead of actually addressing the real problem, which it was women, it was men, it was like an entire cultural vibe. Okay. And all of that is downstream from the 1960s sexual revolution. Like, let's not pretend that that's not, linked. Right. So at least Terry knows what I'm saying. So Julia Serrano was one of the first people I had heard of when I kind of got into the turfosphere. Oh, this clip is short, so let's look at this. And this is a person that really pushed this stuff. My YouTube hates my ad.
One of the things that really jumps out at you if you look at media depictions, for example, is there's a lot of fascination and demonization, especially of transgender people on the male to female spectrum.
No one is fascinated. You have shoved your fetishes in our faces for like 20 years now. We'll talk about Ethel Cain too while I'm here, because I feel like I kind of want to devote an entire like actual legit video to Ethel Cain and his skinwalking of Lana Del Rey, who I'm actually quite a fan of Lana Del Rey. I go back and forth with her, but I think she's actually like a true artist and I really respect her. Let's finish listening to what this man has to say about everyone being obsessed with it. So this is 16 years ago. So yeah, this is the right period.
People such as myself who are assigned a male sex at birth, but who identify.
Right, they started using this language, assigned. No, it's observed. Nothing has been assigned to you.
As women or express themselves in feminine ways.
I still don't understand what this means other than you're wearing makeup and a dress. I don't really, because they don't act, if we're using like the traditional definition of feminine, like soft, like, I don't know what else I can think of when I think of feminine. I really just think of it as a synonym for like soft. And that is not how these men act at all.
And on the flip side of that, there's very little attention paid to people on the female to male or transmasculine spectrum. And I think a lot of what drives that is misogyny. In
Your
general,
whole movement is a misogynistic movement, and I'm happy to see that. I think the house of cards is falling. I think it's going to be a long, hard fall. But I think people were really unhappy with the sports. Um, and now Ethel Cain has decided to flash everybody on Instagram with his sad sack and lima beans. Uh, and Instagram refuses to take it down, even though they say that they're against nudity. So, who are the people that have power? It's these effing weirdos. But I think they're losing their power.
people who don't know anything about trans issues often assume that people who transition from female to male are doing it for male privilege. For someone such as myself, people don't assume that because there isn't such a thing as female privilege in our culture. So because there's that lack of an obvious privilege that they see you transitioning for, they often assume that people transition from male to female for sexual reasons, or they don't know why. And so
they are largely sexual fetishistic reasons, which is what your writing is about.
They really can make more jokes about it. It's easier to make a joke about a man wearing a dress than a woman wearing a suit.
Anyway, so that's Julia Serrano, who I became very, very familiar with. Again, disclaimer, I was only a feminist for about 5 years, between the years of like 2016 and 2021 or something. And I never fell into sort of the whatever Helen Lewis is talking about, which again, I think is a larger cultural milieu. I don't think it's, I think she has misnamed this. You never heard? You hadn't heard? Yeah, you were. Exactly, the 2 girls, 1 cup thing. We are 2 girls, 1 cup virgins. But this is what I'm talking about. And it's not necessarily feminism, although a lot of so-called feminists did push these ideas on people, and they should take responsibility for that instead of gaslighting Gen Z, saying, oh, we never did any of these things. You did. You pretended that people could change their sex. You shamed anybody that wasn't interested in your weird sexual perversions. And they said it was liberation. It's all backwards bullshit. You're here. Thank you. I'm loving it. Yeah, Julia Serrano is definitely insane. Anyway, so let's talk about where we are now. Okay, like let's say 10 years later from 2016. But I mean, I actually have a memory of the early 2000s. I was never a feminist in the early 2000s. I wouldn't have really been friends with anyone like Lindy West. I did not agree with anything that they were talking about. I remember the slut walks. I remember not being able to argue for them. They don't make any sense. And so I think this isn't the whole picture, because there were men pushing these attitudes towards sex. And if you look into the Jeffrey Epstein stuff enough, you can find out that it was very, wealthy people that were promoting all of this depravity. So let's get into the Ethel Cain stuff for a second, because I find that interesting. If you guys don't know who Ethel Cain is, let's look him up. So this is Ethel Cain, who I think is a very unoriginal, angry, skinwalking dude that wants to be Lana Del Rey, except he could never, because Lana Del Rey actually is talented, and this person, from what I can tell, is just a shock artist, which is the lowest of the low, in my opinion. So this guy, and this is the tame picture, decided to post his genitals to Instagram. And Instagram refuses to take it down. I've reported it. I know other people have reported it. Here, we'll go to Instagram for a second here. We'll show you that they refuse to take it. I don't even know where like that full message is. Hold on a second. I mean, I don't want to show you my entire Instagram. It's not necessary. Hold on. Where's my, they won't even show me the full message. Hold on. All right, so me and other people have reported this, and it says, we've reviewed your report and found that Mother Cain's content does not go against our community standards, which is not true, because if you look at Instagram and you want to flag something, let's go to the post, which they've actually recently done this with the sensitivity content. Like, see why? Because the dude has his entire D&B out. That's why. I'm afraid to click on this because I just want to see Grimes. This seems futuristic. There's nothing futuristic about a dude wearing a corset pretending to be a lady. Like, it's kind of boring at this point, to be honest. So I don't want to click on it because I don't want to expose you to that. But if you want to be exposed to it, you can, because Instagram doesn't seem to care at all. So if you don't know who Ethel Cain is, here's some reminders. We're in my bookmarks now. So Ethel Cain thinks 12-year-old girls are, quote, breedable. This is how Ethel Cain actually feels about women. Dumb bees on this website will go so far to prove that trans women are actually men. They literally will reduce women to being small, breedable 12-year-old anime girls. This sounds like projection. I don't know of other women doing this. Do you? Small, breedable 12-year-old anime girls floating in a glass jar of formaldehyde, waiting for some old man to come along and F them and tell them they are so teeny tiny and worth it. This is your own insecurity, sir. I don't think any woman thinks this. B, you have coarse hair on your PUSSY and ASSHOLE. You are not delicate. You are a beast. Right? This is all projection, reversal. You are a nasty little slug too, and having a vagina does not absolve you of that. What's with the beef? Stop trying to punch down. He's still not going to F you. Okay, so that's just one example. Let me see if I can open my other bookmarks here and find you some of the other examples of Ethel Cain. Should we also talk about Christy Nome? Whatever's going on with that. All right, so here's another bookmark. So Ethel Cain once wore a shirt that said legalize incest. Shout out to girls with an emotional support hot cousin. Have you ever said the N-word before? In all honesty, yes, which is not actually something I care about. So whatever, say the N-word as much as you want. Is there a reason you hate Black people, or were you born racist? I love that Lana album, was the response. Now you're mocking Hispanic people. Build that wall. So yeah, I mean, if there was such a thing as millennial feminism, surely it failed. Which is what, I personally think about Helen Lewis and her thought thievery. This is funny. Just go back to my bookmarks. No, Ethel Cain is not sexually harassing you by posting her DICK. You're just transphobic and also weird about non-sexual nudity. I mean, it was pretty sexual. Like, you're posed in hold on, let me skip the one with the D&B out. You're posed like this on a bed and with your D&B out and other parts of this, and you really expect us not to say this is sexual. I've never seen such gaslighting on Twitter. I mean, like, I have, but this is just, it's kind of insane. They're always like this too. Here's another one. That shriveled DICK is getting hard every time someone calls its owner she. Don't feed his fetish. Call him for what he is, a man. Agreed. Yeah. So what do you guys think of this? I think I'm going to put this video on and look at your comments. Another polyamorous couple. And so this millennial masochism is an effect, right? It's a result of a culture that was telling young people sex wasn't a big deal. You should just go ahead and do it. And in fact, if you're not into the weird pornographic sex that everyone else is into, you're a total prude. And there are millennial women out here retconning this as if it never happened, as if that was never the message. And I'm not going to attach the word feminism to it because I think it's a larger cultural zeitgeist. Let's check these polyamorous people out. Why do they always look like this?
Soy Rubí.
Soy Onyx. Y tenemos una banda y además somos una trieja.
Oh, I didn't know it was in Spanish. I hadn't watched it yet. I had not watched it yet. I don't know. I never took part in any of that stuff. I actually argued with feminists on campus. I said, this doesn't even make sense. I don't understand what your message is at all. Terry, you were so awesome. Did you really? You counter protested it by saying no woman's an SLUT. Gen X is so lucky they were whores before the internet was mainstream. So they could, yeah, they're pretending like it never happened. I don't know. I think they would. Grimes is a total retard. Having babies with Elon Musk, you weirdo. She's a transhumanist. But I did like some of her music in this time period. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I love Lana Del Rey. Isn't it? It's the thing I read earlier for sure. That's his fantasy. You guys are funny today. What kind of nudity is it? It's his tiny penis. I don't want to get this taken down or get in trouble on YouTube, but you could go to Instagram and see it yourself. I took a screenshot of it in case he takes it down. Hold on, let me see if I can open the screenshot and then put something funny on it so that you guys don't have to see. I don't know. I don't feel like going through all that. I think you can imagine, if you look at this picture and then imagine the legs being open. I think that's the long and short of it. Short being the operative word here. Anyway, so let's go. Yeah, you don't need to see it. No one needs to see it. And that's why Instagram should take it down. And that's why if you're watching this, you should go to Ethel Cain's Instagram. And it is a violation of their terms of service. You're not supposed to post full nudity on Instagram. And I've reported it, and I think everyone else should too. because teenagers use Instagram, and I'm sorry, nobody needs to see it. Nobody, let's just get this out of the way. Like, nobody actually wants a DICK pic. I think almost any woman I've ever talked to is like, no, I'm good. They all kind of look the same. Like, no one really wants that. I guess like maybe super freaks do, but I certainly don't. So here's another Ethel Cain bookmark that I had. Predatory, abusive man. This was way back when Lana Del Rey was calling him out because there was this whole drama between them. But basically, I think this creep has been trying to skinwalk Lana Del Rey, and he used actual murdered children's missing persons poster for one of his like promotional art pieces. So, I mean, they're not really beating the rap, are they? Everything they do in public kind of proves what we've been saying about them this entire time. Yeah, they can do whatever they want because they're the eunuch class. They're here to keep the women in line. That's my theory about it. Anyway, I don't care who is attractive to you, Tar Baby Yoda. I don't know. Like, it's not that interesting. What else is going on in my bookmarks? So this is an abusive, predatory man who sold pictures of missing girl posters as merch on his website and promotes incest. Okay, good. It's not but I thought that was like an interesting story. Here's a really Delulu lady. This is just on topic, I guess. I'll put this on.
Turks are jealous of trans women, but not in the way you would think.
I'm not jealous of a delusional man any day of the week. I'll just do a reaction to this. This sounds kind of fun. Something I kind of used to do, some old school reaction type video. I'm not answering these weird personal questions to somebody who I don't know on the internet, okay? So you can just stop asking them or you could get blocked. These are not relevant to the stream or that interesting. And I don't think people are that interesting like in who I've dated. I don't know if I can. You might have to be put in timeout, dude. Like, I think I gotta put you in timeout. It's a little like off topic. I'm sorry. Thank you for coming, but I'm not comfortable with those comments. I put him in timeout. I'm sorry. Him or her. All right. So I'm jealous. I'm jealous of Delulu men.
My best friend is a trans woman. I live with her. She's like family to me. She's my sister. And her and I met at a party and we were both really fucked up. And she had just started her hormones, like had just started transitioning. At one point in the night in the party, she started complaining about her bra being really uncomfortable. And I remember I looked at her and I was like, girl, just ditch the bra. Trust me. Skip that whole fucking.
Like, why would they need a bra? They probably have little tiny like A cups.
Phase. Bras suck. I personally never wear bras. And she looked.
Do you have itty bitty titties? Is that why?
At me and was like, well, I was really excited to wear one. I've never gotten to wear one. And I remember after she said that to me.
So excited to wear a bra. When I was younger and like around 13, and I went shopping with my mom for a training bra. It was horrible. I hated it. I still don't like bra shopping. I mean, she has kind of a point, but I do actually need one most of the time if I'm going to leave the house because of my giant, stupid boobs. So, yeah.
I kind of just like went silent and I thought about that for days. And
did you actually think about how only a man could be excited to wear a bra, or what was the conclusion you came to?
Reminded me of a time when I was 12 years old. I started growing tits and I was so fucking excited. And I remember.
You were excited? This person's weird. I was not excited. It meant like when I hit puberty, like I was such an athletic little kid. When I hit puberty and I was a swimmer and gained a lot of weight. I started developing in places. I'm like, I'm never going to cut my boobs off or anything, but I can't say that I love having them. Maybe it's just because I have giant boobs. I don't know. They're annoying.
Remember, shout out to millennials that remember this store, but I was at Mervin's with my mom and I
Is that a West Coast thing?
I saw this bra
Is it a Canadian thing? What is that?
and panty set for like, you know, preteen. It was lavender purple, it was matching, and I saw it and was like, Mom, I want that. And I begged her.
So if millennial feminism is real, this is millennial feminism embodied in a person.
To buy it for me, and she did. And we went to my Vavo's house and I ran to the bathroom with my bra and panty set and I put it on. And I remember looking in the mirror like,
any ladies in my chat feel the same way? Because I certainly did not. I was not excited to hit puberty at all.
Oh my God, I'm a grown ass woman. I'm a bad bitch. I like ran out of the bathroom and it was like, Mom, Vavo, look at my look.
So I think this person's also a lot younger than me, because like I would never have called myself a badass biatch, you know?
Look at my panties and bra, like it's matching, I can wear a bra. And my mom was like, can you go fucking put clothes on? Something a lot of people don't understand about trans people in general, when they start HRT, they are going through puberty.
No, they're not.
Their bodies are doing what cis people's bodies
No such thing as cis.
did when we were kids. I know when I was a little girl and I was going through puberty, like there were some terrible things about it.
Some? It was like all terrible. Hold on, I gotta check in on my chat here. Let me see. Let me see what you guys have to say about like going through puberty. If it was so exciting for you also. And this is brain rot. This video just proves to me that whatever millennial feminism, millennial masochism, whatever you want to call it, has rotted an entire subset of a generation. Like, I was lucky. I was born in 1983. Like, I don't think this, oh, my cat's here. I don't think this woman was born probably in the 90s. What would you suspect? But this is the brain rot that we're talking about. You know, grooming an entire generation to say that like, oh, it's so exciting to like get a matching bra and panty set when you're up in puberty. Yikes. What else is going on? Yeah, it was very uncomfortable. I really didn't like it. You're embarrassed. It's embarrassing, isn't it? Is it a West Coast department store? We don't have them out here. Oh my goodness. Why do you have other accounts? Why do you have other accounts? My friend, can we stay on topic? This is not about me. Puberty was awful. Yeah. Same. I hit puberty and I became taller than almost anybody else in my entire class. It was one Chinese guy, just one time, just the one time. All right, I'm putting you in timeout again. Please do not come back here with another screen name. Please don't. This is clearly like one for the ladies today anyway. Yeah, I didn't enjoy that. Yeah, this is not, sorry. I don't have a very high tolerance for that. It's, you know, I will share the personal things that I want to share when I want to share them on my own humble YouTube channel. All right, let's continue with this brainwashed weirdo.
Because of misogyny, but I was excited.
Wait, what is because of misogyny?
For puberty, like there were some terrible things about it because of misogyny.
Oh, there were terrible things about puberty just because of misogyny, not because your entire body changed and me personally, I gave up like swimming because I didn't want to be in a bathing suit in front of other people, which wasn't necessarily misogyny. It was me feeling uncomfortable with these changes that my body is going through. And that's another problem. We can't really keep blaming all of these naturally occurring cultural things with, such as puberty, with, you know, I don't know. I think it's lazy. I think it's sloppy.
But I was excited because my body was becoming like grown. And
Why were you excited for that? I don't know. Maybe I'm like a weirdo, but I kind of wanted to stay a kid forever in a way and not know any of the stuff that I know.
like what I wanted to be as a little girl. And I know as a cis woman, I've faced misogyny my whole life. So I feel like for a lot of cis women, we have this like disdain and like resentment towards our bodies and being women. And so when
Maybe yes, maybe no. What say you, chat? Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of both for me. I think I'm more mature than a lot of other people in my generation, but I also feel like puberty wasn't terrible because of all the men around me. It was terrible because I didn't like what my body was doing. And I think it's a rough time for anyone going through it. And I think that's why puberty blockers are so dangerous, because you have to go through it so that your body develops properly.
we see trans women that are so excited for like dumb things like wearing a bra or putting on
Because they're stupid and it's a fetish.
makeup, and like even if it does,
Because they've been watching, you know, bimbo sissification porn. I gotta say one thing about this Christy Nome story is that at least maybe we're gonna have a national conversation about what autogynephilia is. Perhaps, right? This is the headline from USA Today. What is bimbofication? So maybe people will actually figure out that a lot of this comes from pornography, which isn't feminism. It's a larger cultural zeitgeist that's become very permissive and obscene.
doesn't look good. They're like so excited they get to do it. I remember when I first started wearing makeup
Because they're pervs. This girl's kind of innocent in a way, don't you think?
I looked like a fucking clown. I had this trashy blue eyeshadow.
You still don't look great, but
This was pre-YouTube tutorial. I was so fucking excited.
I mean, I used to stand around with magazines and try to replicate the makeup looks in them.
I got to do that at one time in my life. And I'm an adult now, and I look at it as a chore, and like the way we're so heavily sexual.
I mean, makeup is supposed to be fun, and I'm sorry if you feel like you can't leave the house without makeup, and I think that is a problem, but I also think that makeup should just be like a fun time. Like, wear it when you want to, when you feel like it. You don't have to wear it all the time if you don't want. And if it does feel like a chore, maybe you should stop doing it. Because no one's going to say boo to you if you're not wearing makeup outside. Trust me, I leave the house like just normal, barefaced all the time.
It makes you feel resentful, and
I don't feel resentful at all. It's not a resentment. It's disgust.
you lose the joy of being yourself and being a woman. I think a lot of TERFs look at trans women, and there's kind of a jealousy there and an anger of like
Yeah, I'm so jealous of confused men who are taking wrong sex hormones, cutting their D's off. I'm so jealous of them. And in other cases, like Ethel Cain's, I'm so jealous that he can post a picture of himself sharing his crinkly lima bean. So jealous.
why are you so excited to be this? And it made me kind of sad because
They're excited to be it because it's a pornographic fantasy.
it's like we as cis women forget that there's joy in being a woman.
I don't forget that. I think being human is difficult for most people. I think life is hard, but it's also beautiful at the same time. And I think if you want to have joy, you can have joy quite easily in the society that we've set up. Um, and I think that feminism as a whole did its job as far as women can choose the lifestyle they want to live. And at the end of the day, that's kind of what I care about. And then the rest of these millennial sex positive feminists want to act like they didn't lie to an entire generation of women about how people can change their sex, how sex positivity and being pro sex work, not calling it prostitution, not calling what it was, sanitizing all of these things did massive harm to women. And now Gen Z are kind of clocking that T, and the older women are not gonna admit it. They're never gonna admit it. I think they're gonna be certain people after this whole house of cards falls down that still cling to like the trans sanity.
I think that's why they're like anyone who's transphobic, especially men.
I hate you know me, like I hate these terminologies with the word phobic tacked on to the end, because as we all know, phobic means an irrational fear. I don't have an irrational fear of men who think that they're women. I think actually my fears concerning them are quite rational, and they should have never been playing sports in women's leagues. They should have never been in women's prisons. They still are. And we should have never conceded this idea that, you know, this mindless mantra of trans women are women. Is today Trans Day of Visibility, by the way? Is that today?
When they treat trans women like shit for being themselves.
Is like wanting our own spaces treating them like shit? Like I seriously I don't get this. I don't get it. Yeah, Sheila Jeffries was one of the people that I looked into when I was doing all the research. She has a great book called Gender Hurts. I think that's what it's, yeah, Gender Hurts. This is a good book. I highly recommended it if you're new to this topic, which I don't think you would be if you're on this channel, but if you are, I don't always agree with what Sheila Jeffries says about things, but she does have some very, very poignant analysis in this book. I think on my old channel, I did a review of it. This girl's makeup, like right now, like it's not like, again, it's not like 2016 right now. I don't know why you're wearing that lipstick color. And I guess a lot of women are upset that Target has all these like poofy sleeved feminine dresses, and I don't think they're getting it. Yeah, makeup should be fun. Oh my goodness, that's terrible, right? Fun and freedom was over. Yeah, for sure. You're so, yeah, right? I'm so jealous of them. I'm so jealous of these porn addicted freaks. So jealous. This is like a long video, actually. Let's keep going. I'm chilling today.
It's because they don't like that these women are finding joy in being women. To be a woman under
we don't like that these men are finding joy in being women. That's why we don't like them, guys. That's the whole reason. It's not because they're predatory. It's not because they've created an entire political movement based on fake civil rights and co-opted every other civil rights movement in the process. It's not that they're weirdly racist. It's not that any of those. It's that we're jealous, right?
patriarchy is to suffer. We are supposed to suffer and hate our
I don't believe that either. It's 2026.
bodies and hate ourselves. And trans women are
I've never been taught to hate I think, again, millennial feminism is a bad. Helen Lewis is not original, and it's not it's a misnaming of it. I think it's a larger cultural issue. And I think a lot of it was pushed on us by perverted men and transsexuals who, pretty much are perverted men by default. Let me see if I can find what I said. I've been getting a lot of feminists like blocking me today, saying that I should die. I don't like showing my Twitter because I like being private on Twitter because I like saying whatever I want. But someone said, I said in response to something, they are men and you are in denial of how harmful it was to women to say these guys are our sisters. Like, listen to yourself. You all sold women out. And that person blocked me. Because they wrote, that's not what happened. We embrace our trans sisters. He ain't no sister of mine. It says, no, STFU, and read some books and learn some critical thinking, as if I love that these people think that I'm like this little kid on Twitter. It's so much fun. Or they think I'm a man. So I should STFU and read books. And it's not their fault that I was not educated enough to understand what I was reading. And I shouldn't even be speaking to them before doing anything of that nature. And I said, so you're not going to admit that whole swaths of young women were told people can change their sex, that men are feminists, that anal sex was liberating. By the way, I'm probably older than you, but I'm taking Gen Z's side. I'm with you on this, Gen Z. Trash these women. They are acting like this never happened. It's kind of crazy. All right, let's finish this video.
Choosing to live as women. They could just end their lives or pretend to be men.
No, well, they couldn't do either of those things because they don't want to. They like forcing their delusions on the rest of us. It's part of the kink.
For the rest of their lives and be miserable, and they go, no, I'm a woman, fuck you. I remember after my best friend and I got a little bit closer, I'm the kind of friend where if I care about you and your look isn't together, I will be upfront with you.
So why hasn't anyone done that for you?
About it, and I will tell you. And I sat her down and was like, your eyebrows are over tweezed and I'm going to show you how to do your makeup right because it's not right. I got you. And I booked her an appointment at this place for her eyebrows so she had something to follow, and I sat down with her and showed her how to do just basic
This is a weird dynamic, isn't it? This woman is expressing her maternal instincts in adopting an adult trans woman.
Full face of makeup. And after she got done doing it, she was like, oh, I look good. And just the way she looked at herself in the mirror, I remember doing that when I was a kid. I'm not gonna cry.
I mean, I don't know. I think this person's I don't really understand them. When I was copying all the makeup looks from Vogue or Teen Vogue or any of the fashion magazines that I had laying around, I wasn't looking in the mirror and feeling a weird sense of euphoria. I was like, oh, that was cool. That's something I did while I was bored. And maybe I'm just not that excited about most things. I don't know.
Full face of makeup. And after she got done doing it, she was like, oh, I look good. And just the way she looked at herself in the mirror, I remember doing that when I was a kid. I'm not gonna cry on camera. That's cringy. But it makes me sad because it's we forget, cis women forget that.
Forget.
When you take misogyny out of the equation, there was a time where we loved being women.
What are you talking about? This person lost me. I don't know what they're talking about. Can someone explain this to me?
Months after she figured out how to do her makeup, she would get dressed up and we'd go somewhere and she'd be like, I look good. And I'd be like, yeah, you're that bitch. There was a lot of hatred towards Dylan Mulvaney from cis women. I remember when she was making videos about girlhood and
because that's an act. Dylan Mulvaney couldn't make it on Broadway, so he decided to become a lady. That's what happened with Dylan Mulvaney, the short story.
Like everyone was so mad at her, and what they don't understand is like, yeah, she's a grown woman, but like she's going through puberty. Like we did.
No, just no, they're not. Yeah, a lot of feminists say this, that we all hate. And I did not. I did not. I don't know. Sometimes when I was going through puberty, I did. That sucked. Let's finish this. This is difficult.
When we were kids.
She's crazy, right?
Like this is all new to her. She's getting to wear makeup for the first time and like wear bras and like, you know, look like a grown woman for the first time. And like we forget how
never will probably pass, but okay.
Exciting that was.
Was it exciting? Like I don't know what this is. This seems like a very weird projection to me.
We're not supposed to feel that. Like the patriarchy wants us to hate our.
Stop it. What this vague. I can't with this anymore. And I still like think that like my ideas could be feminist in some ways. Like I honestly I do believe in sex education. I do believe that young women should actually probably be celibate. Because they should develop their minds, and because I think that that's a better asset to have, is a sharp mind. But that's just me. I don't know. The patriarchy? Do you mean like high couture fashion? Do you mean the publishers of magazines? Do you mean the guy that was friends with Jeffrey Epstein that ran Victoria's Secret? Like, be specific.
Bodies and hate ourselves and do everything to please other people, and it's exhausting.
I think that's kind of just like a female thing though, like to want to take care of people, not all females. I mean, again, this is painting with a broad brush. You can't do that. We're all individuals.
And trans women do exactly the opposite of that. They're making up for decades of dressing like men and growing out a beard they don't want and being miserable as a man. That's like not what you're supposed to do in society.
A lot of these things seem to change very rapidly during the time everybody was locked down. And I'd assume like wanking it to pornography.
And this is why I say I understand passing is a safety precaution for a lot of trans women.
Never will most of them pass.
And there are also a lot of trans women that
we're just like kind of polite, honestly, about it.
That just want to pass, and that is their ultimate goal. But I respect trans people a lot that just don't care to pass, because like, what is passing? And also it's rooted in like beauty standards that shitty people made up.
I don't understand. Like, do you hate beauty standards? Do you hate these things, but you're gonna wear the makeup anyway? I don't get it.
I see trans people in public that don't pass, like especially if they're like feeling themselves and they're like, yeah, and you can tell they're just excited to be themselves. I love that.
Yeah, because they have like a mini boner.
I was, oh, why am I crying? It's so embarrassing. No, it reminds me of a time when I was just so excited to grow up and be a grown-ass woman, and like somewhere along the way I lost it. Because
that sounds like a personal problem. I don't think you can blame patriarchy on that. Where are my other bookmarks? Is there anything else I want to share with you today in bookmark land? How you guys doing? You doing all right on this Friday afternoon? Right, so here's this is funny. The Christy Nome thing. If his fetish is humiliation, this is the best week of his life, right? Because he would pay a model $25 a minute. Damn, I wish I had an insurance company that did nothing but insurance for farms. Seems like you make bank. Brian. That's how you say that, right? Brian. As she reveals his unusual whatever. Like, I don't know what to make of this story. How are there 9 people here and Tara's the only one interacting with me? Yeah, isn't that great when they tell you that you're ignorant and stupid and you should go read a book when I'm pretty sure it's those people that aren't reading. Yeah, happy Friday. Doing all right today? Wants us to enjoy being female. I don't know, man. It's 2026. It's time to stop blaming the patriarchy on everything. That's what I think. You could do what you want. It's 2026. What else do I have in my bookmarks? If I want to share them at all. I mean, I kind of went over it. I want to talk more about how I think Helen Lewis stole my idea, but then butchered it. But I think that's like going to be here's something that's kind of wholesome in my bookmarks. Could you try this? I don't know. I would. It looks kind of good. But I love cheese. Yeah, it is kind of crazy. I knew a woman who, again, this is the larger millennial zeitgeist. This doesn't have it has a little bit to do with feminism, but culturally as a whole, if you were in your 20s, God, dude, goodbye. Bye. I'm not that desperate for comments that I'm going to take weird ones that are going to neg me. I'm not here for that. This is my YouTube channel. But yeah, if you were alive in the early 2000s, you probably knew some women that were in what they call sex work, or prostitutes, basically. And I knew a girl that was paid to throw up on guys. You know, this is, and it is all downstream from the sexual liberation of the 1960s. Do you mean Gen Z or millennials? Which one? Because I do think if there was such a thing as millennial feminism, that it certainly failed. I mean, look at where we are. We're in a hyper unreal place with hyper femininity, like a Christy Nome, right? Who I'm pretty sure her husband was probably skinwalking her, because that's the whole thing with them. You know, it failed. It didn't give women more power or agency. Like, yeah, isn't that gross? And so if there is such a thing as millennial feminism, it failed women. It did not empower them, like, at all. What else do I have in my bookmarks? Oh, this is good.
Right? I don't want to be rude, but, like, you're a guy, right?
I'm a transgender woman.
Yeah, but, like women are in here because you know how many times we're out there and men are staring at us, and now we're in a bathroom, and now we have to be in a bathroom with men.
I'm not a man. I really appreciate if you keep that.
Okay, well, it's not an opinion.
It's not an opinion.
Factual.
You're the first human being who's ever done this.
Because I'm the only one that has balls to do it.
You must be very proud.
I mean, you must be proud having to be in a woman's bathroom. Like, it's fucking ridiculous.
So a lot of people poop on Gen Z, but I think they understood. I think they get it. This lie is not sustainable. What's this? Homosexual intifada. Queer Palestinian Anthology. My trashy Twitter bookmarks today. These people are wild. What does this mean? I see words, but stringing them together isn't helping me make sense of what this means. Okay, we talked about Ethel Cain. We tried to watch These People, but it was in Spanish, so I just stopped watching it. Oh, Roblox should be shut down. Apparently, this story with the... I'll just play this real quick.
Possessing a child sex doll, 30-year-old Jamie Bourne is also charged with possession of child pornography. The doll was found when a parole officer...
It looks a lot like Charles Manson. What do you guys think?
Carried out a compliance check at his home. He was on probation for assault. Officers say he admitted to buying the doll and the possession of the child porn. He reportedly told investigators that he's a programmer for Roblox. Attorney General Liz Murrell is suing...
Shut Roblox down. Shut it down. Shut it down forever. It's stupid, right? It's dumb. I'm tired of this America hating stuff, to be honest. We talked about all this. Here's another story about a guy. I knew they weren't going to get this past the normies, you know? They were never going to get past the normies with this stuff. This is good. For avoidance of doubt, autogynephilia is an escalating paraphilia. It starts at Bruce Jenner trying on his teen daughter's clothes, escalates to Kristi Noem's husband, escalates again to going out in public and to work demanding to be called Charlotte, escalates demanding entry into our spaces, sports and waxing salons like Yaniv. End stage autogynephilia is Ethel Cain posting his full DICK and balls on Instagram today. This was yesterday. And having thousands of women calling him the most beautiful women they've ever seen. Let's look at the comments on this post, because it's kind of crazy. And you never know if these people are actually female or not, right? So Grimes says, this feels futuristic or seems futuristic. What did people say in response? I need to know. Why is it taking forever to load the responses? Yeah, Ethel Cain's a total creep. I think I'm going to devote like an entire actual show. I don't know why this won't open. Someone's girl, OMG, what? Absolute queen behavior. Yeah, flashing people with your male genitals is queen behavior. Most beautiful woman alive. Talk about visibility. One day longer. Yeah, so what happened to hello? Oh, now this is ballsy. Like, yeah, like nobody. And so this is the rot that we're dealing with as a result of millennial masochism, Helen Lewis, not feminism. Because a lot of that stuff, again, Julia Serrano, not a woman. A lot of these supposed sex positive feminists were actually all men. Wow, imagine that. Imagine that. This is interesting. Been doing date range searches on Twitter and Tumblr about sex positivity to actually see what the convos were like. And now I'm even more angry at some of these millennial feminists because they were literally talking about it being co-opted and now telling Gen Z it never happened. I'm here for you, Gen Z. All right, back to this. So Ethel Cain is posting the full Monty and Instagram saying this unsolicited and unrestricted dick pic doesn't go against community guidelines, which it clearly does. And so when people talk about, oh, who can we never question? And they go straight for the J thing. And I'm like, no, it's these trannies. Why is Instagram ignoring their own rules when it comes to this guy flashing us? AGP never stops at just wanting to wear a dress. It's modern day flashers, and we're called bigots if we don't want to see their exhibitionism on full display. Yeah, I really think it, but they never want to admit. The left will never ever admit that it was wrong in anything it said or did. I think that's a huge problem for them. And they don't understand reality, and they don't understand what human beings actually are all about. There's the Sam Altman story. I want to look more into that. What do you guys think of this birthright stuff? I did not watch the trial, but I think it's a dangerous thing. Yeah, there was no feminist outrage when young Britney Spears was being sexualized. I don't know if I can accurately talk about the late 90s because I was a teenager at that time. Britney Spears is like the same exact age as I am. And I don't know, maybe there were feminists talking about it that I wasn't aware of, like in literature. But as far as like mainstream criticism of what was happening, no. And a lot of this stuff, the Britney Spears stuff, the Victoria's Secret stuff, all of that, and this is why I call it millennial masochism, not feminism, because a lot of this stuff was pushed by men. Okay, you could call it the patriarchy if you want. But again, I'm not super comfortable with that term. I don't think it's entirely accurate. Some exercise tips, more on Sam Altman. This is someone's theory about what happened to the gay rights movement. Activist organizations and charities got everything they wanted, but continued to exist and campaign on fringe issues to the point where most gay people themselves don't even care about this activism. This is hilarious. If I had to do it again, knowing what I know now, I'm not 100% convinced I would create the International Transgender Day of Visibility. If I had to do it again, I'm not sure I would attempt to mainstream my fetish by pretending it's a kind of civil rights thing. I have to do a whole show on Helen Andrews. I think she's wrong about her observations. Here's Dugan. See, now you're just looking at my ideas when we're looking through my bookmarks. So I think that's it. I've been here for like an hour. I think I've said what I wanted to say today about Helen Lewis, and her article, The Death of Millennial Feminism, which has started this entire conversation on Twitter. And I hate to sound paranoid, but I think Helen Lewis watched my video and maybe appropriated some of my ideas. That's a problem when you're not like a serious author, When you do YouTube and you put all your serious ideas on YouTube, a lot of people tend to like steal them. But I think this is misnamed. Let me see if I can find the post where I say that like specifically. And then I think I'll go. But I wanted to show you, because I had a phone call earlier. That's why I didn't make it at 2:00. And then because I was in this phone call, which I quite enjoyed talking to my old friend for so long, I didn't have time to prepare for this show. And that's why it's just chilling today. Let me see. What did I say that I thought was important? Just give me a second here. This one's funny. Trans women who go so far as to post their own filthy worm on Instagram, and you all who keep stealing. Wait, let me start. Let me just show you this. Is this okay? Trans women who go so far as to post their own filthy worm on Instagram, and you all who still keep calling them women and referring to them in the feminine, you're a bunch of brainless idiots. I can't take it anymore. I don't know. Maybe this will just be for the people that came to the stream. I like doing that. It gives my channel a sense of mystery and exclusivity. Yeah, so Instagram won't take it down. I'm trying to find what I said. Here we go. I think what Helen Lewis misnamed millennial feminism is more of an overarching zeitgeist of the 2010s, which could be more aptly called millennial masochism. So I'm going to leave it there. Those were my thoughts for today. I hope everyone's having an awesome time doing whatever they're doing. Perhaps I will be back with a more interesting, comprehensive show in the future. I just wanted to hang out with you guys. I think it's unfortunate that like this thing with Kristi Noem is happening, but I also think that it's an important conversation to have with the United States as a whole on autogynephilia and what is bimbofication, and maybe finally coming to terms with the fact that pornography has rotted an entire generation of people, including the girl that we watched saying, you know, her best friend was a trans person that she did oh my God, her makeup for. Okay, wait, let's look at this really quick because it's kind of funny. This is a conversation that needs to be had. I think a lot of people have been fooled by this ruse of like fake civil rights, but like this is what they actually are into, you know? So I guess this person or this bar was inspired by this story and made this bimbofication kink night. If you guys want to check it out, this is in the Washington, D.C. area. Double D drink specials, $7 cherry bimbo fizz cocktails all night. Fake boobs and hot pants. This is like, I'll be straight up with you guys. Like, I don't really care what people do in private, but the fact that these people forced us to take part in their fetish in public is what really makes me angry. Yeah, I hope so too. I guess Trump is going through like a firing phase. He's fired a bunch of people. I had other let's see what other tabs I have open before I go. This one's too serious. Too serious. Someday I'll cover this issue with the assisted suicide stuff. We talked about the furries having a problem with violence already. I can close that. I think we talked about Mamdani not being like a very nice guy. So I think I can close that one. I'm going to close I haven't read this yet, but I'd like to read it. I wonder what their analysis is. Oh, have you guys seen this chick? She does these videos where she pretends to have an orb, and I think it's like some of the most brilliant performance art I've seen in a while. That might be like kind of a good palette cleanser. Hold on a second. Let's just watch one of her videos. I think they're funny. I think she's like really making fun of the sort of like wellness guru types. And it's like in a really strange way. I don't know if you've seen her stuff. Hold on. Here you go.
Anyways, remain. If you step into an elevator
It's too loud.
with a stranger and you don't press any buttons and the elevator starts moving on its own anyways, remain calm. You face a wall, they face you. Awkward, or is it? Great question. Keep eye contact to a minimum, weirdo. The buttons might change to floors you've never seen before, like 3.5 or again. I don't like again. There's a floor that smells like someone just made pancakes. Yum. Don't give up. Nice.
So this reminds me of the NPC video I did quite some time ago, but here is a person making fun of that, and I just think it's very funny. Oh, I'm gonna close this about Joe Kent. I feel like that story's come and gone. I made my point about him in a different stream that I also took down. Closing some tabs, guys. Closing some tabs. What is this? Why has my login expired? Do I have anything else that I wanted to share this story about the Freemasons really quickly. Have you guys seen this? French Masonic Lodge at the heart of a murky murder trial. So 22 people went on trial in France on Monday. This was from the 30th of last month. So on charges of murder and other serious crimes centered on members of a Masonic lodge accused of running its hit squads. 13 of the defendants face life imprisonment. I find these numbers to be kind of funny, huh? Has anyone in this crowd been to London? Any suggestions of what I should do while I'm there next week? I think I can close that. So maybe we'll talk about this millennial feminism at some point, but everybody has written about it at this point. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's going to do it for us today. I hope everyone's having an awesome time doing whatever they're doing. Hold on. The cocktail does look pretty good. I love a cocktail. Yeah, closing all my tabs of shows I didn't do. Yeah, I think it's really bad. And my personal theory is they're trying to push that because, and this is going to sound real cuckoo bananas, but I think perhaps that if you don't go the way that God wants you to go, as far as death is concerned, that maybe your soul gets like trapped here, or you get trapped in purgatory. I don't know. It seems really weird that they're pushing that. It's also like, to be very cynical, it's so they don't have to pay for people's health care when they get old. That's really what it is. Yeah, what should I do? What should I do in England town? In London? Any suggestions? You know what? I keep saying I'm gonna close this, but I'm having too much fun hanging out with you guys. You know what I'm gonna eat? I'm gonna eat jellied eels. I think that I have to do it. I have to do that while I'm there. This video I watched the other day, and though they do not look appetizing, I do think I have to try it while I'm over there. But I love these old BBC archive videos. They're really fun.
In the East End, a lot of the houses in between have disappeared in post-war years, giving place to high-rise flats. And as the old slum tenements came down, a lot of the community feeling disappeared, but it survived in places like this, the oldest Elan pie shop in London, in Tower Bridge Road. It's busy, it's packed from Monday to Saturday, and that spirit of the East End still survives here.
I don't think this place is still there, but a lot of them are. But like, I don't know.
Menu too is unchanged, very simple traditional one: pie, parsley sauce, mashed potatoes, and stewed eels.
Like, are they just like on crack over there? Like, who is like, yeah, this parsley sauce looks appetizing.
24, please. Okay.
This is the thick green liquor that Harry Joyce has been garnishing his famous pies with all his work.
Yeah, but I think I'm gonna stay in like a nicer area. The whole point is to go to this Warburg Institute exhibit on conspiracy art. And I think I'll take some videos also for you guys. I'll definitely take a video if I eat these horrible jellied eels. Maybe I'll like them.
King life. The pies are made of meat, baked in a roaring coal oven, served with mashed potato.
What's the oyster card?
Equally popular are the bowls of stewed eels, which are also doused with the sauce, made parsimoniously with dried parsley and flour.
3 times.
You can sit down and enjoy it in a pew or take it home for the family, but not for much longer. The Dickensian shop where Harry was born is due for demolition, an improvement which will no doubt please the town planners, but dismay the local eel and pie patrons.
104, dear, please.
Maybe I'll just go live there because I really don't know. Okay, you want personal update time since it's the end of the stream? China fell through. It did not work out, which is okay because I think at the end of the day, I didn't actually really want to live in China, and that's fine. I really just want to be back in Japan in all honesty, and that's okay. So I was like pretty distraught like a couple of weeks ago when I found this news out that it wasn't going to happen. But then I got this phone call from a recruiter who is trying to get me to work for a Catholic school in Key West of all places, which if I were to do that, I'd have to make a lot of money because the rent there is crazy. But if that doesn't work out, maybe I'll just move to Portland and I'll get a teaching job there because I can get a teaching job almost anywhere in the United States. Like, that's not difficult, you know? So we'll see what the future holds. I have no idea, but I'm trying not to be distraught and I'm trying to keep faith, and usually I land on my feet. Usually things work out for me.
Very seldom see any eel and pie shops in new properties. This is a bad thing for the East End because eel and pies is the cheapest meal in London, really.
In less polluted times, Thames eels were cheap, a valuable part of the daily diet.
I should say eels, well, must be the most nutrimental
What did you think of the jellied eels?
food there is.
I love that. He's so into it. They're the best, right? Hold on. Let's watch that again.
Diet.
I should say eels, well, must be the most nutrimental food there is.
Nutrimental. Oh my God.
Although you can get jellied eels in certain West End restaurants, they're at their best when eaten standing up. And most of them are taken in big enamel bowls to be sold in markets, at dog tracks, street stalls.
Dog tracks, the best, the classiest places. Yeah, I'll just go live over there in Portland. You guys have a Muji and a Daiso. It's like living in Japan, but less safe and kind of dirty, but like Philly's like that. And maybe you guys can tell me about like, you know, good, cool neighborhoods to live in. Tubby Isaacs. I love it. I love these old BBC archive videos. I actually like them. Okay. You're into bland, salty, and slimy food. Do you put them on top of anything? Is it like a natto, like kind of, you put them on top of like a thing and then it kind of absorbs the gelatinous texture? Yeah, I've been there. It's beautiful. And it's like analogous to Philadelphia in a lot of ways. I'm running people away with my jellied eel talk, but more suggestions of what to do in London. I'm thinking of staying in that area, the Aldgate area.
If jellied eels are the traditional food of the East End, which they are, then the traditional way to eat them is with pepper and vinegar and in the open air. And one of the best places is down here in Aldgate, at Tubby Isaac's store.
Tubby Isaac's store.
He told me once that stewed eels were aphrodisiac. Any truth
Look
in
at
it?
this guy. It's like they don't make them like this anymore.
Well, I wouldn't say know so much about stewed eels, but jellied eels, they've been known to be an aphrodisiac.
So they believe, this guy at least says they're an aphrodisiac. Do you guys believe that? You are? That's awesome. Yeah. What do you guys think? The soup broth who's eating the jellied eels, did you get horny afterwards? You don't have to answer if you feel uncomfortable.
This was one of the things that they blamed the high population in the East End of London for.
They blame the high population on the fact that they were eating jellied eels.
Mention the East End of London in particular because, in my view, the East End of London is London. And one of our cries used to be when we was flogging our wares in the old days was, "Everyone's a baby, come and have a basin." This used to be a regular call of ours. This was a cheap means of feeding a family.
So this is 1975. 30, what is that, 30 pence? What is 30 pence to US dollars today? So it would have been like 30 cents. Maybe today it would be but that would be like 1975. I feel like that's like 10 cents, like of today's money. Or maybe I'm getting that reversed. Anyway, it seems like a great deal.
But I'm afraid they've gone from those days to some in the region of about £1 a pound.
Do you see a time ever coming, Tubby, when jellied eels are going to be as expensive as oysters are now?
Well, jellied eels, in my view, from my younger days, are expensive. But I think people will eat jellied eels as long as they've got a bob or two in their pocket. They're going to eat jellied eels because
as long as you got a bob or two in your pocket, you're gonna eat look at this. I highly, if you get bored one day and you have nothing to watch these BBC archive videos because they're so good. Not just for the main things, but like everything that's going on in this video, like this guy, this lady, the fashion.
We've had to call it a day when the price has risen so much where we couldn't ask the public to pay these prices, and I've had to close down and supplement it with these shellfish to keep us going. The price has gone up, but they want jellied eels and we're giving them jellied eels. But of course, they've got to be the best.
They demand the jellied eels.
This is what they come from far and wide for.
I read somewhere the other day that a jellied eel merchant died recently and left £42,000.
Oh, well, I'll leave more than that when I die.
My grandparents' jellied eel store started in the First World War. It was well known outside at Mile End, outside the Plough Public House there. And the whole community, all the East End people used to go and have their drink and come to the store.
What kind of candy bar was it? That's outrageous.
And they used to have fun, and all the kids and the coaches used to pull up on the way back from Southend. You know, they had a day out. And it brings them back from the seaside to the seaside in the East End. And it used to be lovely.
I'm telling you, I've watched this video multiple times. There's something about it I really like.
The East End was changing even before the war. Slum tenements were giving way to new housing blocks. And then the Blitz obliterated whole neighborhoods overnight. And it wasn't only people who died. An eccentric and colourful way of life died with them. The muffin men, the hot potato sellers, the roasted chestnut barrows.
I want to be there. Can I go back in time? I need the roasted chestnut sellers in my life.
A lot of what is left is ripe for demolition. And although small pockets of the past survive in the most unlikely places, nowadays you have to hunt them out. Lovett Lane will soon be gone, and the ancient fish market, Billingsgate, is due for redevelopment. When most of London's fish either came out of the Thames or was brought by boat upriver, then the water's edge was a logical place to have a fish market. But eels come mostly from abroad now, and the whitebait is frozen.
Jamie Russell, regular M&Ms or peanut M&Ms? A king size? It's good that you have an active, like physically active job. I feel like that would be a really bad choice for most people.
Some historians think there's been a market at Billingsgate for nearly 1,000 years. Certainly, in the 13th century, you could buy a dozen best souls for threepence.
Threepence. What is he wearing?
Today, Billingsgate is an international market selling exotic fish from China and Pakistan alongside the homely haddock. Smoked, it's always been a particularly London delicacy. In Limehouse, there used to be 30 or 40 smoke holes, but frowned on by the authorities, few have survived. Eric Ruffle
I love this guy with his smoke hole.
is among the last of the old fishmongers still smoking in the old way.
Still
he buys his
smoking.
haddock fresh from Billingsgate.
Smoke them if you got
It's been
them.
done in the small backyard of the average fish shop of East End of London right away since before the turn of the century. The East Londoner had the market of the fish coming into London, and they were able to put their hands onto the oak dust to cure it, into the various commercial businesses that were going on, the wood, the furniture businesses and that, and the proximity of the river coming out to the East End of London rather than carting stuff across London to West London. South London and East London has always been the home of the smoked haddock.
There's nothing elaborate about Mr. Ruffle's smoke hole, but the way in which he cures haddocks down here in
It's a simple smoke hole.
the East End transforms them into a West End luxury. A lot of so-called smoked haddock is chemically dyed to ape the buttery colour that smoke achieves naturally. And the natural way to eat it?
Oh, the traditional way is no doubt bringing it to the boil, having it on a plate with a little bit of butter and a crust of bread to dip into the water that it was cooked in.
A simple people. A simple smoke hole.
When we were lads, father had the haddock, mother had her meal while it was cooking because there wasn't enough to go round, and we were able to have the crust of bread in the gravy in which it was cooked in.
Anyway, these are great. Highly recommend the BBC archives. All right, I really am going this time. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. It was just a chill session today, not too much heavy lifting. I do think Helen Lewis probably did watch my video. Who knows? But I don't think millennial feminism is the correct term. Everybody, take care. Have an awesome time doing whatever you're doing. And I will catch you on the flip side. And Terry and Jamie, if you know of anyone that needs a roommate out there, even though I'd rather live alone, let me know. But yeah, I needed to do something for myself. And I haven't been to England since I was a teenager. And I just thought it would be fun. And because the Warburg, I showed this on a different stream, but because they have this art showing of this conspiracy themed art, I thought it would be interesting to check it out. And I know that no matter what, things will work out and I'm not going to worry. So if you are in the UK and you want to look at some weird art, this is happening at the Warburg Institute from the 13th of February to the 2nd of May. And I will be there next week. So maybe I'll live stream from there. Who knows? Again, have a great time doing whatever you're doing today. God bless. Take care. Later, mate. I can't really do accents. Bye.